10 on Drive Time. Lincoln, good to have you along for the ride here on 1400 KLIN. The storm that we're talking about in the Gretna area, and again, it's really not very close to the city of Lincoln, much closer to Omaha, but it has just developed over the course of the last hour here. And but you want to keep that in mind for those that commute. We have a lot of folks that commute between Lincoln and Omaha and listen to 1400 KLIN. We'll keep you posted on that storm. It is moving away from the capital city, just so you know. Well, Donald Trump tweeting 4 minutes ago. Donald Trump's tweet says, "The fact that I am having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters and the losers. We have our hostages, testing, research, and all missile launches have stopped, and these pundits who have called me wrong from the beginning have nothing else that they can say. We will be fine!" Explanation point. There are somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 journalists that are participating in or they're covering this summit on North Korea between Kim Jong-un and United States President Donald Trump. Joining us to talk about it tonight, live from Washington, D.C., is United States Congressman Jeff Fortenberry. Congressman, welcome back to Drive Time. Good to have you tonight.
Thank you, Coby. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm actually in Nebraska right now, getting ready to go back to Washington, D.C. Had a nice weekend with the family, had dance recitals, and good to be back in the community.
Well, thanks for the clarification. Congressman, how significant is the North Korea summit that's going to take place local time? It'll be tonight yet. It's tomorrow there, but how significant is this?
It's historic. It's bold. It's unimaginable, really, given where we were just a few short months ago, on the precipice, perhaps, of even a nuclear engagement with North Korea, Kim Jong-un. It is really an amazing series of a convergence of things that have happened in the last few months, and I think it's worth unpacking if you'll give me a moment.
Please do.
First of all, President Trump's decisiveness, his clarity on the issue, is real serious signaling to North Korea that if you try to hurt us, you are going to have a bad day. And it's the military that does give the space for potential diplomatic engagement. The movement between hard power and soft power is something that you have to do to try to bring about conditions and ends that you want to seek. So President Trump's willingness to do that, to be clear and bold and strong, combined with South Korea's deft diplomacy, particularly leveraging the Olympic Games. This was very significant. Around that time, I actually was with the South Korean ambassador, and he was highly confident and optimistic about what had happened at the Olympics, whereby the proxies basically for the Trump family and the Kim Jong-un family were together and showed that maybe some common humanity was possible to break through a diplomatic stalemate. And finally, the third point here is China, and I think this is really being underreported and has not been sufficiently analyzed. You recall just maybe 2 months ago, Kim Jong-un took that armored train into China to meet with President Xi. The significance of that is really it's hard to underestimate, because suddenly Kim Jong-un began to think and talk in a new direction about some kind of rapprochement with America. China has played a double game with us, with North Korea. They say they can't control them. They're very worried about them as well, and yet at the same time, that's not fully true. China likes having us tied up by North Korea. However, I think Kim Jong-un has taken it too far. He got pulled into the principal's office, to the woodshed, and he began to change his tune. So it's the combination of Trump's strength and clarity, South Korea's diplomacy, and then our willingness to engage in the wake of that diplomacy as well with our own, and then China pushing on North Korea, that I think has led to this moment.
Congressman, you have mentioned both South Korea and China. A lot of people are making a big deal about the fact that neither one of those countries are at the table. Does that worry you at all?
No, I think, again, leveraging whatever China has done in this moment to possibly rein in Kim Jong-un. And we left out a variable here as well, the international sanctions, as well as China's own action in this regard, but primarily for U.S. leadership, the international sanctions, which is crippling their economy. is also a very strong motivator to Kim Jong-un. So it is a convergence of all of these variables, again, made possible by President Trump's clarity and willingness to dialogue, the South Koreans' deft negotiation and maneuverability, as well as China pulling some strings, I suspect.
What do you think is happening right now? We're a few hours away from this meeting. What do you think is happening right now behind the scenes? Are the staffs trying to find areas that they can agree on and work on even prior to the meeting taking place?
Well, of course, you want to go in a meeting basically knowing the outcome of the meeting as much as possible before going in it. Now, there's markers that you lay down. The big visionary marker would be this, that you have some type of new historic agreement between North Korea and America and the international community that the war officially ends. That might be symbolic, but it says something very strong. Then you hope for some type of emerging interaction between South Korea and North Korea, economic exchange, cultural exchange, while respecting differences both in culture as well as governance. Then you hope for perhaps a broader regional security arrangement that would include China, South Korea, North Korea, as well as America, to basically settle these issues once and for all. Now, that's visionary. That's the far marker that you want to try to reach for. In reality, again, President Trump has said, I'll know in the first minute if this man is serious, if Kim Jong-un is serious and someone we can deal with. If his intuition tells him, then what I think will happen is they'll create some space for a type of trust-building exercise, a pause of both the nuclear weapons development in North Korea, as well as trust-building exercises whereby some economic exchanges occur. South Korean delegations visit, perhaps American and North Korean high-level delegations visit one another. And then it creates some space for ongoing development toward the visionary ideal. But in the moment, you have to have what we call realpolitik, and it's probably just going to create an incremental movement that will be called a trust-building exercise.
And I think the nuclear agreement side of this is maybe the thing that concerns me the most and maybe concerns Nebraskans the most. Do you think Kim Jong-un and President Trump, do you think they can even agree on what denuclearization means in each other's mind?
Well, again, that has to be the ultimate outcome here. Kim Jong-un has shown that he is a dangerous man, and he's got the most dangerous weapons known to humanity. But he also knows, and I think President Trump is clearly serious, that he is not going to hurt us because we could do the most serious damage conceivable to his own country. So denuclearization is probably not a momentary one swipe and it's all over and finished and things are dismantled and then verified. I imagine that, again, if we can get to some agreement, it's going to be in incremental steps. The first step of which is going to be some type of period in which there's just trust building while nuclear non-proliferation, disarmament, and verification negotiations continue.
Congressman Fortenberry, what you just said makes perfect sense. Congressman, before I let you go tonight, in your opinion, what makes this meeting tonight a success? What do we need to have happen to make this a success?
Well, I was listening to you right before I came on the program. I didn't see President Trump's tweet, but I think he's setting the record straight. I mean, for decades now, we have been trying to motivate the North Koreans to move away from their nuclear program. They have taken small steps backwards. We reward them, and then they cheat and leap forward again. The mere fact that the circumstances have dramatically changed in the last few months, that hostages have been retrieved, that the nuclear program is on hold, that there is the highest possible level of meeting to negotiate further positive development. And if we can send a signal to North Korea and say, it doesn't have to be like this, that we will respect your territorial integrity, we are not going to invade you, but you will not put the world on edge and the United States on edge with weapons that could kill us all. You will not do that. And in turn, if we can get there by verification as well as dismantling, you will have a very bright future. If that is the possible outcome here, just that type of conversation, I think that is a big success.
Congressman, you said it best at the beginning of this interview when you said that this is historic. It truly is. This is something that will be talked about and covered by the media for months. No, really, no matter what happens, this is going to be talked about for a long time. And I do always appreciate your insights. Thanks for giving us a few minutes tonight.
A pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much.
You bet. Nice to have you. United States Congressman Jeff Fortenberry with us tonight here on Drive Time Lincoln on 1400 KLIN.